Hello everyone, this is Marcel here. Hope you all are enjoying the holidays. I've been trying to take the time to get stuff done and more just seems to get piled on me. Anyway, my topic for today is Don't Date Crazy Part 2. And from the looks of it, it's probably going to be the last chapter involving that particular woman and our interactions. Now, if any of you didn't listen to the first video, I'll put a link to it in the description down below. I may also add one on the screen. I haven't decided yet. Depends on how well it works. I don't normally use those. In the first video, I gave kind of a general discussion about not dating people that are showing crazy behaviors or warn a person that they are crazy in the beginning of the discussion or the relationship, whatever the case may be. In this video, I'm going to give specifically what happened through those interactions with the girl, how it started, what had inspired me to make a video out of it in the first place. So here's a very brief recap that'll catch us up. Met a girl that I'd known from work a long time ago. Turns out that her boyfriend was being a total douchebag. She showed an interest in talking to me. I tried to give her some advice. I made it very clear that I was not interested in dating her, which did not seem to sway her even slightly. We wound up hanging out briefly and talking quite a bit on Facebook. The first adventure we went on was actually us just driving around while she took care of errands. It wasn't supposed to be anything romantic. It was an opportunity to kind of catch up, talk, and maybe get to know each other. We ran around doing some errands, or at least that's what she had said we were supposed to be doing. It was basically returning underwear to Victoria's Secret, getting daily use items for her house, and getting a birthday present for her boyfriend. Firstly, let me say that this woman, if she was being honest about where she shops, has ridiculously expensive taste. She took me into this soap shop in one of the malls. It was literally like $25 for a bar of soap. Now, I appreciate the finer things in life myself, but that's a lot of money for a bar of soap that's mostly oatmeal anyway. While we were in there, she handed me the small bag that the soap would go in and said that it was my job to prevent her from overspending because she lacked the ability to control herself. Keep in mind as I tell you this story that I'm just some random friend. From my perspective, and you'll agree with me after I get further in this story, she was doing that to see how I reacted to the value and the price of the things that she was showing me. Especially walking through Victoria's Secret. I mean, we're talking $90 for what looks like a $10 slip. She was also warning me and gauging my reaction to the fact that she didn't have the ability to control herself when it came to shopping. If you didn't already expect this to be coming, she did ask whether or not I thought these lingerie items would look good on her, or if I felt the price was too high. She did further probing in different areas within our interactions. For example, when she drove, she did so erratically, taking corners extremely sharp, flooring it in the middle of a parking lot, slamming her brakes right before she hit people. She went out of her way to drive as crazy as she possibly could. Now, one could blow that off as it just being the way that she drove, except for the fact that she commented on it. She looked over at me and said that she was surprised because most of the men that she were with didn't let her drive because she drove so crazy. Yet again, I believe that she was testing me to see what I would tolerate. I pretended not to care the entire time and acted as if it weren't a big deal. Going back to our discussions on Facebook, the points of interest were after about a week from that drive around town, she all of a sudden said that she wanted to see me and wanted me to drive over and visit her at work. I asked her what for in regards to what we would be doing, and I didn't ever get much of a response back. Another week or two went by and I got another random message, which was simply, "I miss you." I basically just said that I liked hanging out with her too and asked how she was doing, and yet again didn't get much of a reply. About a month went by while she used these bait and ghost methods of messaging me. By that I mean she would spark a conversation and then disappear right afterwards. Finally, she decided that she wanted to speak to me on the phone and have an actual conversation, in which we spoke for probably 2 or 3 hours one night about various things from her relationship to expectations from boyfriends and all sorts of different stuff. Of course, me just basically giving her advice on how I would handle those situations if I were in her shoes. The conversation ended with her saying that she'd like to hang out with me the following day, but she might go hang out with her friends instead. She wasn't sure. Depended on what she felt like at the time. I remained indifferent either way. This is where it gets really interesting. So the next day, when I finally did get a message from her, it was in the early afternoon and was basically, "Marcel, please help me." And I asked her, "What's wrong?" She says, "I need your help. Come and save me, please." I asked her what had happened. She replied, "I will tell you when you get here." I said, "No, you can tell me now." We went back and forth with that for a little bit before she finally admitted that she had gone out with her friends as opposed to going to hang out with me. When her friends took her outside of town to their apartment or something, they had started doing drugs, which bothered her, and she needed someone to come and pick her up. I asked her why she couldn't just get her boyfriend or one of her parents, one of her family, to come and get her, and she replied that she did not want them to know that she had gone out with those friends and had gotten in over her head when they started doing drugs around her. She said that she needed me to drive, get her, and quickly rush her back to her boyfriend's before he realized that she was gone. Just for context, the location that she was at was a 40-minute drive one way. I told her verbatim that I was not a damn taxi and that she could call an Uber. She replied that she did not have her money with her, which I knew was total garbage because the woman is addicted to shopping per her own words, and I ended the conversation by telling her that none of that was my problem and that I was not going to rush her home so she wouldn't get busted by her boyfriend for making bad decisions. Now, one would think that that would have been the end of times that she would ever want to speak to me, but it actually was not. We talked less than a week later than that, and she admitted to me that the whole thing was a test, that she had wanted to see, and this is quoting her directly, if I were a man that truly cared about her, because a guy that cared about her would have been willing to do that. She also tried to blame the fact that she went to go see her friends as opposed to seeing me on that I did not show enough interest in her coming to see me in the first place. Before I had a chance to reply to that, she continued the conversation talking about other stuff over the top of me to try and bury it in the mix. As soon as I had a chance to cut in, I pointed out that that was total crap and that I'm not going to show that much interest in hanging out with someone who's actively with a boyfriend, because that's just stupid. Bugging her to hang out would not have only caused more problems for her and her relationship, but it also could have landed me with a pissed off boyfriend trying to kick down my door. So overall, not only was this woman sizing me up to replace her boyfriend, she was being outright open about it. Coming out and saying it directly like that was simply another tactic to see how I would react to it. Within days, she gave me one, I'm assuming to be a final test, to see if I would help her when one of her pets died. She didn't actively ask for me to go pick up her pet and take it to the crematorium, but she kind of hinted at it and wanted to see what I would do. I got her their phone number, and that was it. She may have even hoped that I would pay for it, but I might not find out because our conversation seriously tapered off beyond then. I find interactions with people like this fascinating, and it's part of the reason why I used to get in so much trouble, because I would wind up hanging out with them and trying to help them and get tied up in all of their drama. In cases like this, I know enough now that I can see them and interact with them, but not get caught up in it anymore, because so far I've known when to draw the line. So when you're around people like this, tread with caution, because nothing they could offer you is worth or justifies what they're going to put you through, whether it's sexual or even just a friendship. Just be careful out there. I hope this was interesting, and if you want to hear more stories like it, like and subscribe. For those of you that are out there waiting patiently for me to put out my video on fake friends, I'm almost done with it. I've just been taking my time getting it ready.